Let's talk about a time of the day most people don't think about much. That is 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., also known as the Mao hour or rabbit hour. So according to Hdnj, this hour block, the rabbit hour, is when the large intestine meridian is most active. Large intestine, you know what's large intestine, right? Now, you've probably heard health experts say you should develop the habit of morning bowel movement, not afternoon, not evening, not at night, but morning bowel movement. This is a good practice. And here's the truth, you don't need to train your body actually. Your body naturally wants to go at this hour. Any one of you have this urge to go to clear your bowel in that hour? You know, this is how your qi flows according to the organ clock. And this is how a normal, healthy body will experience. So I've stated here, this is how a normal, healthy body will experience. Of course, today, I believe many of us don't clear the bowel at that timing. Why? Because probably this timing is when you are on transit to work, right? Or you may be rushing your children to school and things like that. So therefore, you miss this golden hour. But if you have a chance, if you have that opportunity, please, when the body, when the urge comes, please go and clear during this, especially during this hour block. And this is called healthy living. So in Hdnj, this time is called Heaven's Gate Open, 天门开. Open, heaven's gate opens. So the sky starts to brighten, birds begin to sing, because this hour is also where sun start to rise quickly already, but before noon, okay, but in the morning. So this is called the sky starts to brighten, and then the birds begin to sing, all those activities. And just as the heavens open, the earth gate, Chinese called 地门, must open too, because this is yin yang. So talking about 地门, there's just a very polite way of saying your 破门.破门in loosely translated into English is called anus. Okay, it also needs to do its job at this hour block. Now, why is this important? Because TCM teaches us that lung and large intestine are interior and exterior pairs. That means husband and wife pair. One helps you breathe in life. The other helps you release what no longer serves you. So the lung takes in fresh air. The large intestines let go of waste. So if one is blocked, the other struggles, vice versa. And why your breathing affects your bowel, you may not have this kind of awareness that actually our breathing affects our bowel. But first, never mind. But first, what do we mean by interior exterior pairs? In Hdnj, we say the lung and the large intestine, as I mentioned, are interior exterior pairs like husband and wife. When one is affected, the other responds. So it's just like if the husband gets stressed at work, the wife will feel it at home and vice versa. So what happens when your bowel movement are off? I mean, like constipation, when you sit in the toilet, nothing. Okay, so if you get constipated, it's often a sign that your lung qi is also weak. That's why in TCM, they always ask about your bowel habits. And this is one of the questions that, TCM physician will always ask, how's your bowel habits? Not just to check digestion, but to assess how well your lungs are functioning as well. Now, have you noticed this fun fact? When you are constipated, what do you instinctively do when you're at a toilet bowl? You may tend to hold your breath and bear down and push hard. Hopefully something comes out, right? So that deep breath activates the lung qi and then supports the large intestine to move. So constipation and diarrhea aren't just gut problems, they are qi and fluid regulation issues. So when lung qi is unbalanced, the intestines either dry out, leading to constipation, or fail to absorb the fluids, resulting in loose stools. Now, what about fluid regulation? Just now I mentioned fluid regulation, right? Because constipation and diarrhea, they are not just gut problem, they are qi and fluid regulation issues. So I mentioned about that's now about when lung qi is unbalanced, okay, and when it's too dry, it will lead to constipation, right? So let's talk a little bit more about fluid regulation. In Hdnj, we use the word jing. Jing basically means fluid, right? Jing governs, or fluid governs moisture and movement. Now, Darren is saying, is asking, from my understanding, many ladies tend to have higher chances of constipation issues. Does that mean they are lungs prone to poor health or other possible factors? Based on what I know, both men and women have equal chance of constipation. And why would constipation shows up in certain person and not the other person? There are few reasons. But lung qi is one of them. If your lung qi is poor, okay, that will affect constipation. Another one is the small intestine. You may be surprised, huh? Small intestine also affect constipation? Yes, right? Why? Because small intestine, what energy is the small intestine? Everybody know? Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Pepe. Small intestine is fire. Now, would you like me to explain a bit more about fire, small intestine and constipation? What are their relationship? Because this is usually what I'll cover if we talk about the 12 meridians, when we go deeper into 12 meridians. So pardon my drawing, because I'm not really good at drawing human parts, but I will try. Okay, so this is lung. This is heart. This is liver. Then there's a gall here. Okay, then stomach is here. And then spleen. And then large intestine. And then inside here is the small intestine. Okay, so what happened here? The heart and the small intestine, I put SI, they are actually, they need to vibrate at the same frequency. Hear me out. They, lung and small intestine, they are husband and wife. So they must operate at the same frequency. Otherwise, they'll be out of sync. So what happened here is that the heart will pump the fire energy down to the small intestine. So the temperature, I mean the amount of fire between the heart and the small intestine, they should be about the same. Okay, so you can see the position of the small intestine and the position of the large intestine. This is the large intestine. So that means small intestine is also giving out fire, heat, and it is seated right inside the large intestine. That means on top here, where I use, let me use a different color. Let me use green. Okay, so the waste food plus the fluid will go inside the large intestine, right? And then they will have to come out through the earth door, the anus. Okay, but there is fire here in the small intestine. That means small intestine is as hot as the heart fire. Okay, so this fire is actually warming up the large intestine. Now, whatever that goes through our large intestine, there will be a food waste plus fluid. Okay, so if let's say the temperature is just nice, that means the waste will have a little bit of fluid, and because of this fluid, it makes bowel smoother. You get that? I think this is common sense. This is called normal. This is called normal. Once you know this is normal, then when things happen that doesn't look like it's normal, that's already called abnormal. That means you need to pay more attention. So what happened if the small intestine fire, there is a runaway fire? Runaway fire means it get too hot than normal. When it get too hot than normal, basically means it's not warming up the large intestine. It is boiling the large intestine to a point whereby the fluid all evaporated. And when it's all evaporated, right, the waste become a dry waste. A dry waste. And when it's dry waste, right, without any fluid liquid to be like lubricant like that, it makes your bowel very hard. Okay? And in most cases, you need your lung qi. Take a deep breath, push it down. That means push it down basically means is to press the large intestine to move an inch. Move an inch a bit, until finally is able to get out. That is quite an effort. So therefore, not only lung qi may affect constipation, your small intestine may also affect constipation. And of course, the large intestine itself may also cause constipation. So whenever you hit upon a situation of constipation, don't just go silo, that means single track minded to say that it must be large intestine. Yes, you're not wrong. But there could be other organs that is not working that cause constipation. Now, let me ask you, if the small intestine now, the fire is very low, low fire, lower than normal, okay, lower than normal, what would happen to the large intestine? It means, yes, so if the small intestine is not that hot, I mean, not hot than not as normal, which is cold, then the person is easily diarrhea because the liquid cannot evaporate unto a point whereby it's just enough to become lubricant for the bowel to move smoothly. Too much liquid. And therefore, the moment you go in, right, you sit down, right, is the more liquid type will come out. So I hope you can understand now. And seriously, pardon my drawing. I'm sucks at drawing like this. Everybody clear? Can I move on? So just now what we mean is that TCM physician, they will always ask about bowel habits, not to check just about digestion, but also your lung qi and a few other things. For example, your small intestine as well. Okay, and then lung qi can help you, what do you call that? Push the bowel out. So we are here. That's how we talk about fluid regulation. Now you more or less you know what is fluid regulation here. So we need fluid for the bowel movement. Okay, so it means actually fluid here, jing here means to sip and to push out, to moisten and help things flow. So when there's too much jing being forced out, it can cause dryness in the colon. That's why diarrhea can lead to dehydration. Why? Because Huang Jing say too much jing being forced out, it can cause dryness in the colon. That means large intestine. And then after that, it becomes constipation. On the other hand, if there's not enough jing or it fails to hold, wrong. If there's too much jing, it can lead to diarrhea too. Okay, so and here is where it gets serious. Just now we talked about when you're constipated, you instinctively would hold your breath, bear it down, and then push hard. Now imagine someone doing that with a weak heart. The pressure increases dramatically. I mean, putting pressure onto the heart. Also, your blood pressure might spike, oxygen might drop, and the heart will struggle. So if there's an underlying blockage or weakness, that's when a heart attack can or may strike. So in both modern and ancient records, right, this kind of death was known in TCM as the toilet death. I'm not sure whether you have heard about this term here, called toilet death, due to qi reversal or qi blockage. So toilet death, this is the slides on that. So what's the takeaway? If there are elderly people or heart patients or hypertensive individuals in your family, remind them not to strain too hard in the toilet. What we can do, support good hydration and support lung function. Remember, our lung also help drive the bowel. So let your breath and bowels move freely. Because if qi can't flow, neither can life. So the next time someone asks, is there a reason why cardiac arrest often happen in the bathroom? Now I'm sure you know how to answer already. Can I safely say that? So this, what do I call that? The bowel hour, right? The Mao hour, rabbit hour. So when you feel the urge to go in this hour block, please go. Please go. If you have an opportunity to go, please go. This is healthy living.